welcome vintage gamers to a special stream courtesy of Wizards of the Coasts, not sponsored. Today, Wizards put out a ban and restricted announcement, October 10th, and they actually mentioned vintage, which is really weird. They don't normally mention vintage, but it looks like they mentioned every single format and a little bit about the format health of all these formats. So let's take a quick look at what they had to say about vintage and how I feel about what they had to say. Vintage is in a relatively good spot. Magic Online data shows archetype data diversity in a higher number than past cycles. This is true. I'm also seeing that. In part because of new card additions to the format. I would agree. Displacer Kitten and Hex Catcher are examples that feature prominently in respective decks. Okay, I mean, true, but that's an interesting definition of prominently. Other new cards like Boseiju are finding home in a variety of decks. We are aware that many of the current COP decks use Tinker and are often categorized together, but within the Tinker category, there's a lot of diversity in how the decks are built and the play patterns that follow. We're seeing healthy amounts of good stuff decks, Vengevine decks, and workshop decks. Overall, we think Vintage is in a good place and don't anticipate the need for changes soon. So I think their point that they're trying to make here of new cards filling niches is true. I wouldn't use Displacer Kitten and Hexcatcher as examples of that. But I would use cards like Minx and Boo, Maddening Hex, Caves of Chaos, some of the more powerful cards. Yeah, but their decks are not in the format. Right. That's the real problem. But I agree with the general point they're making. New cards are coming into Vintage at a pretty reasonable rate now. I think the rate has slowed down and they're coming in slowly, but they're still affecting the format. They're still finding homes and they're still, making the format new and interesting, which I think is true and awesome. I would say Magic Online showing us a greater archetype diversity is definitely true. The archetype diversity that we see in the format, in the notes and the dashboard, the metagame dashboard that we put together, is really, really awesome and definitely rivals other formats, even when we don't have the same player base. Interesting that they note about Tinker and people's frustrations with Tinker. I would say that the amount of diversity inside of Tinker is lower now than it was a couple months ago. When 8cast was seeing a variety of play, you had 8cast, PO, Breach, Esper Tinker Saga, Grixis Tinker Saga, and I felt that those decks were varied enough. Now, the decks are kind of condensing as people figured out, what is good. And with PO being on a downturn, 8cast barely existing, and Grixis Breacher kind of transforming into just Grixis Breach, Hull Breacher turning into more about Breach, we are seeing Tinker kind of clumped together. So while I would say this statement was very true maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I think it's less true now. Just something to be pay attention for. And I like how they highlighted we have 3 different Bazaar variants. We have 3 different Workshop variants. We have a variety of Deathrite Shaman Fair decks, including non-Deathrite Shaman Fair decks now with Jeskai Luris. So yeah, I guess that is a fair point, Mario. That is a fair point. There also are Jewel Shops and Oops All Spells both play Tinker. So that's a fair point. Those are 2 very distinct Tinker archetypes. Those decks I don't particularly consider as much about Tinker, mostly because they're not Demonic Tutor decks, where the Demonic Tutor decks are a lot about Tinker. Those decks just happen to be playing blue and artifacts. So, here and there. So overall, I agree with this message. I think there are, maybe some card choice issues in this statement here, but the rest of this message I totally agree with. And I think it's a pretty good representation. It seems like they have maybe a decent outlook on what's going on in Vintage right now, which is good. But in honor of the Hex Catcher making the banned and restricted announcement page, that's what we're going to play today. We are going to sleeve up Merfolk. And this is a more interesting Merfolk list in my mind than the last time we streamed Merfolk. We streamed a challenge with a Lord's Merfolk list, a very traditional style Merfolk deck. This one, however, is a vintage special. Something that Not Me worked on, and I put a little bit of input into. This is a deck specifically targeted at the vintage metagame. You're going to see a couple cards here that are not, they won't really show up in other Merfolk decks across other formats. Those cards being Tide Shaper, Thieving Skydiver, and Hullbreacher, all as 4-ups. Hullbreacher is seeing tons and tons of vintage play right now in different Tinker Saga decks. And it's really helping to maybe attack the preordained decks of the format, which is really interesting. Also, obviously this card is great against PO, great against Ancestral. So, and then Thieving Skydiver and Tide Shaper very specifically attack Urza Saga. You did have Thieving Skydivers pre-Saga because there's just so many Moxen and Soul Rings in the format. This card gets a lot of value in that sense. But Tide Shaper is just an excellent answer to Saga decks. Having your Merfolk kill a Saga is super good. And this card absolutely overperformed in the last few leagues we played with the deck. The big thing to note in this deck is that it's not a Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, Lord of Atlantis. It's not a Lord deck. What we're trying to do is play a bunch of Merfolk that generically cost 1 blue mana source. So Tide Shaper is really a 2-drop. So we have, look at this. This is 16 1 in a blue Merfolk. And the reason we're doing this is so that we can play a full Moxen suite and play these cards on turn 1. And of course, if you can play Hullbreacher on turn 1, that's also good. The basic idea is that we are going to use the power of vintage to accelerate and make these cards stronger, which is really interesting and a really cool idea. So I think this deck is definitely better than the Lord's deck, and it does some very interesting things. And it's going to be fun playing it in a league today. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round 1, Vintage League with Wizard's favorite card, Hexcatcher. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, that is certainly a hand of Magic the Gathering cards. I deserve this. All right, I guess I'm going to mulligan this hand because it thoroughly does nothing. Okay, God, this hand is technically better. I think I'm gonna put the Black Lotus back. Well, then I could play 5 mana Silvergill on turn 1. God, why is this so bad? I think I'm gonna put this Black Lotus back in case I get Wastelanded, and I'm just gonna go Cavern Sapphire Go. I don't want to play 5 mana Silvergill Adept. I swear we have islands in our deck. Oh man. This hand is not very good against Bazaar of Baghdad. I don't think many of our hands are good, but we do have Wastelands in our deck, which will help. This isn't even that bad of a hand. It just, if it was a 7-card hand and then we had another Merfolk, then it's a great hand. All right, what do you got for us, BGG? Hopefully it's better than whatever I did. Because no! I'm glad I kept my Cavern of Souls. My poor Merfolk land. I wish I had the Hexcatcher there. Would have been flashable. All right, beautiful. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Merfolk. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, why am I conceding the game? Let's not do that. I would like to reveal my Merfolk card. Nice. Okay. I'm just playing 27 Cavern of Souls. Yeah, sure. I kind of clicked through that one, but my opponent is on Hogaak for what it's worth. Oh, they're going to just try to wasteland me out of this game. Okay. Interesting. I could have forced the Vigor, but I just didn't feel like that was a good idea. This game would have been so much easier if I just had a basic island. All right, so my opponent is playing Fair Hogaak, where they don't have a Bazaar of Baghdad. They kept like a very Wasteland Vigor heavy hand, which I think is reasonable. We'll see what they follow up with. I still have a force. I am obviously very far away from this stuff, but we'll see what happens. I've had 3 of my mana sources cut off. Are they going to get like a Dryad Arbor here and look to play a second Hogaak? That's the only reason I could think that they're hesitating on a fetch. Unless they're maybe the swamp version of the deck. Oh, they are the swamp version of the deck. Okay. Yeah, sure. You got a Blazing Root Walla. All right, I mean, I think eventually I'll draw out of this, and then I'll be very far ahead. So, I mean, I don't hate the choice they made. Like, we revealed True Name Nemesis, and my opponent's deck doesn't really beat True Name Nemesis, so I get it. We do have to draw a bunch of lands, though. That's one. I think I'll just hold this back. It's worth noting that I don't have lords in this deck. Well, I have 1 lord. I have the Hexcatcher, right? But for the most part, Silver Gales end up being pretty small. Imagine the time I get a Hull Breacher when they have a Bazaar of Baghdad. That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm actually willing to... Am I willing to trade this off? What does this do for me? If this was a green Root Walla, well, then I can't trade it off. But I'd want to get rid of it more. This is probably... Yeah, well, this is fine. I don't think the Silvergill in play helps me very much, but sometimes having this in play helps them a lot. Maybe they're probably not playing the Gaia's Cradle version, so maybe that's not true. They still need to find another green or black creature in order to cast Hogaak. We have a force for the first Hogaak. We did not draw another land. So my opponent has a Vigor they can eat, or they can just eat the Silvergill. That's fine. This negation is pretty useless. Maybe I can pitch it to force. They drew the Bazaar before we... Man, we were 1 turn away from drawing the land first. All right. That's definitely not good for us. That's definitely bad. So let's see what they find. They have a Hogaak and they have a Root Walla. Do I want to counter the Root Walla so that they can't play the Hogaak, or just counter the Hogaak? That's a nice question. Probably I'm just supposed to counter the Hogaak. They will eventually get a Hogaak, though. They both buy time, and if I can get a land and Hull Breacher, it will buy even more time, because they won't actually draw cards to discard, which I did. Nice. I should... If I don't play this in True Name Nemesis, it kind of signals that they have... That's fine. It's possible I'm just supposed to jam Hull Breacher on my turn. See if they make the read. They didn't make the read. I feel like a very strong player would make the read there and just hold their Bazaar activation, which is why I didn't really like waiting. So they don't get to draw any extra cards here. They're going to discard 2 cards. We're going to get some treasures. And they're still not close to casting Hogaak. Vengevine Wasteland. Oh, God, if they had Wastelanded me, that would have been pretty good, too, because then they could respond. Yeah. I don't know if I made the right play there. I'm definitely not blocking. Unsettled Mariner? Well, the whole point of this deck is to be a very heavy basic island deck, so probably not. Thieving Skydiver. We might actually be able to get up to steal a hollow one at some point as well. I think I want to just get this True Name Nemesis going first, though. So my opponent will draw 1 card here, and depending on what the card is... No, they're probably not going to be able to play a Hogaak through this. Yeah, well, Wasteland wouldn't have been a complete disaster. They would have Wastelanded, I would have cast Hull Breacher, and then they would have responded with a Bazaar activation. Maybe it would have been a disaster. I think the right answer was I was supposed to play Hull Breacher on my turn. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like, Can they play Gak here? Let's think about this. They have one card in their hand. They discard it. No, they can't play Gak here. How could they play Gak here? Gak costs 7 and doesn't count itself. So even if they like played a creature, I'm not sure how they would play Gak here. Ooh. Now I think I still am supposed to hit this Bazaar. I wonder if they'll activate in response here to get up to the 7. They didn't choose to activate in response. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're still one short now, though. Interesting. I figured they would activate in response to be able to cast a Hogaak next turn. Maybe I'm not even supposed to hit Bazaar. I feel like I'm supposed to hit Bazaar to keep them from casting Hogaak. I don't think I'm going to lose to this Deathray Shaman, so I don't think I'm worried about the Badlands, though. What is this? Oh, it's a Once Upon a Time? Oh. Oh, they have a Beseiju. So they are going to be able to cast Hogaak here. Wow. Do I lose this race? That's an interesting question. So they are going to cast this Hogaak. They have exactly enough. But we have a flyer and a true name on a 3-turn clock. They hit back for 8. It's just short. I'm losing that race? Wow. I think we're just losing that. Wait, what? What is this? Oh, they have another creature. Sure. You can't bring back your Vengevine, though. Good idea. Well, I can't attack with the Hull Breacher because they were holding up Basking Rootwalla activation. I don't think that's a reasonable attack. Tide Shaper. Maybe we should have, though. Just went for the trade. That, like, puts them on... I guess they can't really trade unless they draw a creature, but, like, there are so many things they can draw, right? Deathrite, Bloodghast, Rootwalla, Stitcher Supplier. But maybe making them draw it is better. We're losing this race. Yeah. I didn't really factor in a Beseiju there. Imagine if I could have negated... If it was a Once Upon a Time and I negated it, that'd be so crazy good for me, right? I feel like I played this game pretty poorly. So they take 5 and they go to 8. And then I play a kicked Tide Shaper. And that does turn off their Deathrite Shaman, which is quite good for us. And so if they were to attack... I take 10 and go to 5. I attack back. They go to 5. They go to 3. And then I'm 1. Ugh. Okay. So what do I need here? The Lord. I need a Hex Catcher. Wizards of the Coast. I need a Hex Catcher. Any Hex Catchers? I need one. It's the answer. WOTC knows. Is there any way I can survive if I don't draw a Hex Catcher? Wait, Hex Catcher doesn't do it though, right? Because they just double block and I still lose. Time Walk definitely does it. Oh boy. True Name Nemesis doesn't block Hogaak very well. I drew the Hex Catcher. I don't think this is enough, right? 4/7 block. And then they attack back and I die because they have too much. So if I were to play a Hex Catcher and just attack with True Name, can I survive coming back at me? I think I can, right? So this will be 3, and this will block here, and this will block. I think that's enough. I'm going to have 3 toughness is 5. Second 3 toughness is takes 2. I block here, and I take... No, I think I have it. I think I have enough blocks. I can't block with my Hex Catcher, though, because I want to be able to deal 4 on the swing back, right? Why would I be at 3? This is an island. I turned off Deathrite Shaman with my Tide Shaper. Yeah, I don't think I want to do bad blocks. I think I have a winning line with normal. Oh, if Tide Shaper dies, it's no longer an island. So maybe I attack with... Well, I don't... Tide Shaper doesn't have to die. I can block Hull Breacher and Skydiver on this and Tide Shaper on this. I don't have to... Sky Shaper doesn't even die. I think this is fine. This... Decent rip. I agree. All right, so Hull Breacher and Skydiver block here, and this blocks here. I take 3, 1, and go to 1, and they have to have fetch land to kill me, or a land to kill me. Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I died to this pump. All right, that's fair. But then I just die if they don't pump, so I just lose either way. I'm dead on both. So I have no way. There's no block here that saves me, right? No, I have to attack. There's no way I have to always attack there. I guess if I had blocked this way and... No. If I block with the Hex Catcher, I die to the Deathrite Shaman. I have no blocks there that actually save me because I forgot about pumping the Root Walla. Wait, why did my Tide Shaper die? Why did my Tide Shaper die? Didn't I block a Bloodghast? Oh, this is a 3/3. Well, they just don't pump. This is a 1/1. I don't think I think with my attack, I have no outs there. I just don't understand why this Tide Shaper died. Whatever. They can do 2 with the Deathrite Shaman by not pumping. Hullbreaker was supposed to attack, but then I can't block. Oh. It's just some weird thing. Okay. All right, so negations and Flusterstorms are gone. And I actually don't think I really want forces either. No, attacking forcing a chump isn't even good because I have to be able to block the Hogaak, guys. Ugh. I think you're right. I think I have to no attack and flash in my Hex Catcher and hope they made a bad attack. I think that's actually the best line there. Oh, I am not on the right stuff. I need to take out way more things. Wait, what? Oh, maybe I don't need to take out way more things. Just need to take out 1 Skydiver, and then I keep in Tinker, all this stuff. Oh, you're talking about the Hull Breacher attack and trading. They could just not attack. They could just not block. Like, they don't have to block there. And then they attack back, Larlugga. That doesn't actually change anything. They could just not block. Is this good? I think so. This loses really bad to Hollow One, though. Sure. I mean, I'm not the best combat math player, where I play Vintage here. So I definitely think there are optimizations. Something wrong with the audio? I hope not. What's going on with the audio? Rootwalla, Vengevine, Bloodghast. Gosh, are you going to have Basking Rootwalla and a Hollow One here? It's quite strong. Wow. Oh, boy. What is this hand? Man. I think we're going to lose this game. This hand just looks extremely strong. That is not a very good draw here. I don't think I want to Wasteland. I think I'm just going to turn it into an island and then Wasteland their other land. Well, then I can't really block it, so that's probably not a great idea. I'm just going to get murdered by a Hogaak here, right? They're going to cast Stitcher's Plier and hit me with a Hogaak. Oh, this is not good. Maybe I was supposed to hold this Black Lotus and try to cast a Sphinx of the Steel Wind this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd have to draw 2 lands. Maybe that was what I was supposed to do. I'm going to surgical the Bloodghast. I'm trying to figure out if there are other lines here for me. Because I'm going to have to double block eventually. Oh, it's so bad. The hollow one. I have to do this now because they have a Foothills, which has 2 activations of Bloodghast. I just can't block this hollow one until I draw more creatures, which is like the real problem, I would say. Sure, we could have done it in draw step. Fine. Yeah, that's true. They drew a Deathrite Shaman and cast it. Okay. So nothing changes. Except this Rootwalla is going to be more aggressive. So now my Wasteland on their Bayou isn't good. That's the biggest problem with this Deathrite Shaman draw. So now I think I want to just double block this hollow one and Wasteland the Bazaar. Oh, I can't do that. Because then I lose my Tide Shaper. +1/+1. So I have to block and then in combat, but that's so bad for me. They get double Rootwalla. All right, well, I just have to let this take all this. I'm so far behind. Okay. This is just not great on this board, but it's something. So if I hit this Bayou right now, then they can only pay for Hollow 1 Deathrite. All right, sure. Let's hit the Bayou. No matter what, they're going to be able to activate Bazaar before I can Wasteland them. So I wonder if we're supposed to double block now, though. Double blocking now turns their Bazaar back into a Bazaar, which means they can't really afford to keep Shaman in play unless they draw a land, which they will eventually draw a land. Does this make my board better or worse if I double block here? I'm gonna double block. Maybe I'll draw a Wasteland. Riot Arbor. Oh boy. I really wish I could take game 1 back. I think this Bazaar just finds them lands and I lose, right? Doesn't feel like we're coming out of this game ahead. Unless we drew like Hull Reacher next turn, maybe. Like Tabernacle does something, but it was just this Deathrite Shaman draw that really screwed everything over. Wow, they hit Jet. That's so good. Like, the fact that Deathrite Shaman was able to pay for everything off the top was really bad for me. They didn't hit a land drop, though. Hull Breacher would be great here. That'll get us towards our Sphinx. Or my opponent left in Force of Vigor. Okay. Never mind. Surgical Extraction. Guess I'm glad I didn't play that second Pearl out. Or second Mox out. Okay, where does this get me in life here? My opponent has 3 mana. They can save Arbor Shaman Rootwalla. Well, now if they... Okay, they didn't hit a Hogaak. Are they going to activate the Razarin upkeep? Them not hitting a land was really nice. They paid for a Rootwalla. What? Oh, they're going to tap their Shaman to pay for something else? Okay. I guess I could have ate in response, ate their Bazaars. That would have killed off. I kind of feel like I want to eat a Hogaak, though. They boarded red, yeah. Maybe I should have surgicaled that Bazaar in response. So they would have had... I mean, they're still going to lose... They're losing a lot. Maybe next turn. Well, if they draw a land here, it's really bad for me. But if they don't draw a land, then it seems okay. They didn't draw a land. Okay. All right, so I probably will try to kill off a Deathrite Shaman here, depending on how they pay for this. Sure. Okay, they didn't hit a Hogaak or anything, so... Oh gosh, they're gonna be so sad if they stack this way. Oh, they figured it out. They didn't figure it out. I'm trying to figure out if they figured it out or not. Okay, they figured it out. I think this is fine. Keep 1 Rootwalla. They hit me for 1. Didn't hit a land. They've used a lot of their lands. Jet. All right, I'm not going to play that out yet. Well, actually, it saves me life. I probably should play this out. I have the lands I need to cast Sphinx of the Steelwind for whatever that's worth. The Moxen I need, I should say. Wow, they keep activating. This is not what they should be doing with this Bazaar, in my mind. I really dislike that. All right. I think I'm willing to just take 1 and have them keep eating if they're going to keep using their Bazaar like this. God, if I draw a Thieving Skydiver, how good is that? Ew. They drew a hollow one per turn? That's not good. Drew the Hull Breacher finally. Okay. Oh, they finally did the wrong order on that one. They will always be able to pay for this hollow one, though, unless we draw a... Unless we draw a Thieving Skydiver. Now they're not using their Bazaar of Baghdad, which is interesting. Oh, they drew double Mox. So I'm probably going to lose to this hollow one, I would think. Unless we draw a creature this turn. Drew a Tide Shaper. Okay. Sure. Unfortunately, I can't keep this Hull Breacher in play. They paid with the Bazaar? Why wouldn't you pay with the Jet? It's very odd. I think I have to trade off here. It feels silly not to. Maybe I'll draw another Hull Breacher. Okay. This is a silly game. I think my opponent didn't use their Bazaars to the most ability they had there. Okay. Stitcher Supplier. The Wasteland. Probably just pay for the Stitcher Supplier. Oh, why wouldn't you pay? Don't you want to have... All right, they hit a Hogaak. I was going to say, don't you want to have 2 creatures for Hogaak? They have 12 cards left in library. What a weird game. They gotta go AFK for a sec, apparently. Hex Catcher. What a weird game. We might get a game 3 here, which is fun. I haven't done the math on what creatures they have left in their deck. I think that sacking this supplier was bad, though, because you could have tried to work towards a Hogaak. I guess maybe they were looking for Bloodghast. I haven't seen any Bloodghast post board here, though. How many? We're 3 lands away from Sphinx? So that probably won't become relevant. Maybe we should have Tide Shapered our Tabernacle. Oh, you're right. I surgical extracted Ghast. True statement. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, they might not have very many cards left in their deck then. We surgicaled Bazaar and Vine. They have Wasteland, though. They have Root Wallas, but they probably don't have red mana. Well, they might have a Taiga left. I don't really want to figure it out, to be honest. Let's just play our cards and hope we win. We currently have blockers, though. Deathrite Shaman are bad for me. How many Deathrites do they have? 1, 2. They have 1 Deathrite Shaman. A Deathrite Shaman would be very bad for me because I can't kill these. What I need is a Thieving Skydiver to steal their Mox Jet. That's what we need here. Or, you know, Ancestral. Ancestral's a good card. My opponent having to go AFK with 6 minutes on the clock is probably not good for them either. I do have Wasteland, though, if they play like Taiga and then play Blazing Root Wallow. So they won't be able to pump their Root Wallow. Oh, man. This is a kind of a fun match, though. I think we're probably at a disadvantage in this matchup. Specifically this version, too. All right, my opponent is back. Let's see what they've got in their 12 cards remaining. Please no Deathray Shaman. That's all we ask. I guess technically they do still have to pay for things, which makes some stuff annoying, but Deathrite is still winning. Oh, man. Excuse me. All right. I am going to pay. And then... Oh, they hit the Badlands. I probably am just wastelanding that. Tide... Never mind. Never mind. Or wait, should I hit my Tabernacle now? Oh, man. Should I hit my Tabernacle now? Just wasteland their Badlands and hit my Tabernacle? I don't think they have any red sources after this. Why didn't they hold this? How many hollow ones do they have left? They can almost hard cast a hollow one if I leave this. The question, I think I'm supposed to... In which sense does this Tabernacle help me? I don't think it helps me in any situation. I'm going to turn off my Tabernacle. I'm just turning off my Tabernacle. What is this life? No! What is this? Oh, they cycled Hollow one. Okay. Lotus is already used, so... I think that playing the Badlands there was really, really big misplay because they have a Blazing Root Wallow left. All right, we got there. Oh, man. What a game of Magic the Gathering that was. No, you can still wasteland. Even it's not a basic island. It's just an island. All right, I guess we'll go again. I wonder if we're supposed to have Force of Will just to beat hollow ones. Nah. All right, this has been a really fun round one. It's taken forever, but it's been pretty intricate for a vintage creature mirror. Oh, baby. Oh, hello. You'll never see it coming. We're just a Merfolk deck, I swear. Did we see a Boseiju in that game? I don't remember if we saw a Boseiju or not. Don't say that! Why would you say that? I didn't say that. Root Wall is in there. I mean, we could get Mindbreak trapped. Whiffed on Bazaar. Merfolk. Silly. I guess I should strip mine this Taiga so they can't Beseiju me. I should have strip mined this so I couldn't get Beseiju'd. I just was talking to my opponent and I stopped thinking. I don't know if they have a Beseiju. But I should be trying to stop Beseiju here. Just gonna surgical my own strip mine. Well, if my opponent does find, you know, land Beseiju, could work. Wasteland, activate Beseiju. They have it? I think they're fooling. I think they're fooling around for the stream. I love it. Nah, they had Cycle Hollow one. Okay, all right. That was a fun match. It was pretty close. I think there was a lot of room on both sides to make some stronger lines, but we were able to pull it out. Tide Shaper there was very good. Again. Okay, let's do it. Round 2. What do we got? We got Bluesman. Yeah, this hand has... I think this hand is totally fine. I have a Wasteland for Bazaar. I have Forces for non-Bazaar. I have uncounterable cards. Okay, this could be a challenging Shops draw. I actually think that this card will be hard for us to beat unless we draw True Name. So I think I am going... Well, if they go Mox Sphere, I return with Wasteland... I think I'm going to force pitching Silvergill. It's obviously going to ruin some amount of our lines, but I think I want to have access to second force. I don't really typically recommend countering that card, but I just think our deck is going to have a hard time with this card. We can't like Thieving Skydiver it. All right, I'm just going to get this out of here too. This is kind of where what I consigned myself to. Now, I don't think I can waste... Oh, my. Yeah, we would have definitely lost to these automatons. What else do they have, though? Like, a Nettlecyst is quite bad for me here. Okay, they don't have a follow-up. I was going to say we can't really Wasteland this shop because we have to save this Wasteland for Saga. Unless we draw, you know, something better. It might be really risky to play out this... Cavern, but I don't think we play no land here. Like, maybe we're not supposed to play Cavern out. Maybe we just play Wasteland out. I guess that's fine. I kind of want them to be playing like Saga this turn though. So Aggro Workshops, we got a really nice sideboard plan for Aggro Workshops. with a bunch of Fluxes and Hercules and Tinker. Okay, so they did have a Nettle Cyst, or they drew a Nettle Cyst, it looks like. Nettle Cyst here is... Oh, so they probably just didn't... No, maybe they held the Nettle Cyst because they wanted to keep the Black Lotus to pump the Nettle Cyst. That kind of seems like what's happening. So they didn't have a Wasteland and they didn't have a Saga. So we're actually in not a horrible spot. We do probably need to draw... something. I don't even think it's worth Wastelanding them. I'm going to hold my lands in case I draw Thieving Skydiver, which will let me like play Skydiver and take Nettle Cyst, and then I have to obviously re-equip Nettle Cyst, but definitely a line that we can be thinking about. We have a bunch of very good top decks, and we also have a bunch of very bad top decks. Okay, never mind. There's a Saga. I could have responded to the land thing, but I don't think that matters much. I'd rather see more cards first. I'm pretty sure we need to re-equip because we just gain control of this and nothing happens. Oh, thieving self-equips? Is that a thing? That has never come up in my entire life. Is that a thing? That is a thing. That's never. I'm not gonna lie to you. That has never come up in my entire life. Ooh, basic planes. Are we getting a Bronze Guardian? What is this? Oh no. That is not a beatable Magic card. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's so bad. Bronze Guardian was not the top deck I was expecting here. I should have cast this Hex Catcher. I just forgot. I was in awe of the Bronze Guardian. I guess theoretically I can wait. See what they do. Maybe they'll double equip here and go for lethal. I mean, I wonder if my opponent was holding Bronze Guardian and waited till they drove planes, or if they had it off of Black Lotus and they were just didn't want to crack their Lotus because of the Nettle Cyst. If they equip the Nettle Cyst, I'm gonna act like I don't have a basic island. Is that stupid? Yeah, it's stupid because I need a basic island to cast my Hex Catcher. All right. So is there no way out now, right? Because if I draw a Skydiver, I can steal the Nettle Cyst. I guess no, I can't because it has freaking Ward 2. Okay, let's not show them this then. Oh, they don't have... Yeah, I mean, you're right. Then why would they re-equip? That doesn't make any sense. I agree. All right. Post board. I was not prepared for the Bronze Guardian. We're going to bring in all of this stuff. I wonder if we should bring in Mindbreak Trap. What we get to do is take out Fluster, Misstep, Time. Time Walk is fine. I think we'll just take out some Hold Breachers. I don't know how many. Some number of Hold Breachers. I think we want all of our forces, typically. I wonder if I'm allowed to take out, like, all the Hold Breachers. They're probably worse than Catch Catchers. Maybe that's fine. Let's try that. Vintage playable Magic card. That's the secret. Makes Merfolk better. Secret number 2. Merfolk is playable in Vintage. Secret number 3. Oh boy, is this a trap? This kind of feels like a trap to me. Doesn't have an artifact. You can still lose after Tinkering Sphinx. I think this is a trap. I would rather look for like a Flux hand. Or like... If this hand had a Mox, obviously we keep it. But if they just go... If I go Island Go and they go Sphere, we're just super losing, right? Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this Tinker hand against Shops. That's nuts. Oh, this hand's worse. We have 3 Fluxes. I'd really like to see a Flux hand if possible. It's our best card. They mulled to 6. All right, I guess we're keeping this. This hand's also kind of medium, but don't think I can go lower than this. Just gonna go Island Soul Ring, and then we can go Silvergill Adept plus Shaper, which is not bad. My opponent is also on a mulligan to 5, so we have that going for us. But yeah, we haven't found any fluxes. We had a Tinker hand, but I just don't think that was a very good Tinker hand. If that hand had a Force in it, the 7-card hand had a Force, then it's fine. If it had a Mox, it's fine. There's a lot of cards that make that hand keepable. But I think just with the cards that were in it, it just wasn't keepable. This is not a good hand, but I think any more would be silly. And it's not like we have, you know, a wastelandable start here. Right. It has mana and it has spells. It's more than we can complain about, for sure. See what our opponent has for us. Workshop. Inspector, sure. Wow. It's a good 5-card hand. What's the follow-up? Oh, no follow-up. Okay. That's good. All right. So let's start with the Adept. We don't have a Wasteland follow-up anymore, which is kind of annoying. Like, if they have a Saga follow-up here, it's really bad. But I have to cast both these cards right now, I think. Also, if they're playing Walking Ballista, we can't really beat that magic card. We are in trouble in this game, I would say. Drawing land was not really what we were looking for. At least we have outs, though. True Name's great. Hercules, Flux, Tinker, those are all great. Trinisphere is not bad for us, but Saga is pretty bad for us. So now we have to draw another Tide Shaper or a Wasteland. This is the thing I was super worried about, but I don't think I can hold the Tide Shaper there. Maybe I could. Oh, I drew Flux. Okay. It's a good draw. That's a good draw. I did make it so their workshop taps for an for actual Flux mana though, which is kind of annoying, right? So they could actually tap workshop, Saga, Soul Ring, and pay for Soul Ring Inspector, or they could pay like lose the Soul Ring and pay for Trinisphere Inspector. But Trinisphere doesn't do anything here. You usually let the Trinisphere go. Well, at least the Flux will be good against Saga. It's possible I should have like attacked with the Shaper, maybe gotten them to chump with Inspector. I don't think the reward is super high for that. It's going to be really hard for our opponent to fight through a Flux unless they have like Ancient Tomb in their hand. True, they can't cast any spells if they keep the 3-ball. That is true. I think they should just keep Soul Ring and keep Inspector and just forgo constructs because it's pretty impossible to use them, and then hope to push forward that way. Like if they find, have an Ancient Tomb or a Tolarian Academy, it's really going to help. And then we'll probably need a second Flux or something similar. I'm kind of happy my opponent paid for Inspector though, so we'll have to see. Depends on what their follow-up plans are. They did Mold to 5, remember, so they might not have a lot of extra mana after this. Wasteland doesn't do very much against our current board. Does help them pay for things. Yeah, I mean, they can't remove Flux. Once this is in play, it's impossible to be removed. They have to just play through it, basically. Skydiver. What can we Skydiver, and will it be any good? feel like we just wait on Skydiver. Don't feel like I need to cast it. I feel like I need to do anything. What's my opponent really going to do here? Well, if they make a dude and then we take the ring, then they just lose the dude anyways, right? Or we can take the dude. You know? Like, we could take the dude and pay for it. Like, that's something we can do. We have plenty of mana. Doesn't look like they're making a dude, though. Looks like it just... Oh, they are. Okay. Like, this is totally fine, right? They make a dude. They lose their Saga. It gets something else that gets Flux. I mean, they can get a Black Lotus here, right? And then they'll have a lot of mana to play something. But then they still have to beat this Flux. If they have, like, an Expedition map, that would be pretty good. They have a Mana Crypt, sure. That's... I mean, that's fine. All right, this is their last card here, and we have Skydiver for at least 2. We can't get up to that high. I would definitely love to steal the Snettlesys, but I chose not to play Cavern to I didn't expose it to Wasteland. So I think I'm just going to steal the Construct and Wasteland their Wasteland. All right, I'm going to start attacking. If they block this, then they lose their... Well, they don't lose their Germ because they can just lose one of those. I mean, I don't even have to do anything. Like, they're just going to they're just going to die to Flux. I'm playing Merfolk Control. Yeah, they're off it. That's what Flux does to a player. So I'm going to bring in Mindbreak Trap on the draw. It's a little silly, but it gets the job done. And then... What do I want to take out for that, though? I like all my cards. Maybe I don't take out anything. Maybe I don't bring in Mindbreak Trap. I usually like to have Mindbreak Trap against Aggro Shops on the draw. I don't know if we're ever racing. Like, it's possible Time Walk isn't good. Is that crazy? But we're an aggro deck versus an aggro deck. There's a possibility we end up racing. It doesn't feel like we'll end up racing, but theoretically we could end up racing. Seems bad to take that out. Maybe we just won't play Mindbreak Trap. I can't think of a... None of these cards are worse than Mindbreak Trap. So, I guess maybe we won't. It would have to be like trim a creature, which I don't really want to do, as the creatures, you know, like I need a certain number of Merfolk for my... Oh my. Yep. That's a keeper. Well, see how bad it is. I mean, my opponent can easily play Sphere of Resistance or Trinisphere, and it's really bad for me, right? I lose a game if they play Trinisphere. This hand isn't perfect. This hand really could use a Force instead of a Wasteland, probably. And again, I do think that these Aggro Shops decks can beat a Sphinx of the Steel Wind. I've seen it, so... The good news, though, is, like, we have Wastelands for Saga. They had Sphere on turn 1, okay. So we have to make a choice now between Wastelanding their Workshop or going Island, play both of my Moxen. I think I'm going to waste them. This backfires if they have, like, second Workshop Sphere. But it's pretty good otherwise. Double wasteland. Not the double wasteland into the basic island. All right, this looks pretty winning for us. Just the game 3 Tinker Sphinxes have been what do we got? A Nettle Assist. 3-3. Gonna hold this wasteland just for Saga. I think Workshop Sphere Go is fine. They mulligan. There's like a certain amount of risk they have to accept, right? Second Nettle Assist. Uh-oh. When they attach the two together, I think I'll be out of range by that point. Is this deck other blue Tinker? No, no. It's not a Tinker deck. It just happens to have a very nice sideboard plan versus these decks. Yeah, they can't actually even attack because I have a Silver Gill Adept now. They still can't attack because this thing is 6/6. All right, that should be enough. Got there. All right, we take those. All right, round 3. Let's go Merfolk. On the play with no blue mana. No blue mana. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's fairly unlucky. What is going on? Do I just like keep this and hope they're on Bazaar? Like, what am I doing with my life? I just have had no hands that had a blue source in them. What is the probability that I mull to 4 and hit 0 blue sources? Is it even worth going to 3? What am I gaining? How can I win if I guess an Ancestral? It was probably better to concede, but I also kind of want to see what my opponent's doing first. That was really unlucky, but Magic does that sometimes. Basic Island Mystical Tutor. Man, we would be so good right now if we had the access to Hole Reacher. They have an Ancestral. Yeah, I know. I mean, not much I can do, right? All right, maybe we still get their ancestral. Somehow, them having 6 cards in hands makes me doubt it, but even if we do resolve it, it's not like we actually got anything from it. We just got some treasures, right? It's not a time twister. All right, so my opponent's probably on Breach or Hull Breacher Saga. Just gonna hold this strip mine for a Saga. Because they pitched Time Twister. Kind of a rough way to lose our game 1, but it happens. So, interesting. Esper Tinker, maybe? See, this is nice. Maybe it's just Pio. Oh, maybe it's just Pio. Maybe it's no Saga Pio, the best deck in the format. Kind of looks like it, right? Mana Vault, Time Twister. I'm just gonna let him play. I want to see what's going on here before I make rash decisions. Like, I want to know if I'm supposed to bring in Mindbreak Trap or not. That's kind of the big one. Mystical for Tinker, Ancestral Tinker. Yeah. I like it so far. So good. Okay, Pio. They did say they liked my videos, so maybe I should have guessed. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Wait, is it gonna be a tough matchup? I have a million forces and Hull Breachers. It might not be a tough matchup if we draw 7 cards. All right. I don't think they're on sagas. I think I'm just gonna say they are not on sagas. I did not get that probe off in time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is bring in Mindbreak Trap and then resubmit after cutting a True Name Nemesis. I don't know. I think this matchup's quite good for us. We have Thieving Skydiver is quite good. Hull Breacher is great against no Saga PO. 6 forces and a Mindbreak Trap. It's not bad. And 2 Flusters, too. I think this matchup should be reasonable. I think Hull Breacher would have been pretty nice if we resolved it. It's quite hard for that deck to play through a Hull Breacher when you don't have Saga. It's definitely an upside of playing Saga, is that you're not as weak to Hull Breacher. True. Dress Down is a strong Magic card. Pretty much always going to keep this hand against PO. Having force is really, really important. And then we have an uncounterable Skydiver. So I like this hand. It's not the best hand. It has a little bit too much mana. But we will at least be able to Skydive anything they choose to play. I guess if they don't have Mental Misstep, I should say. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming. Fair enough. Sometimes you hit the bad beats. You have force backup for Ancestral too? No. Okay. We're definitely behind right now. This unfortunately shows them my Skydiver, but would rather get a creature in play and draw a card than do nothing. They were already holding Moxen pretty close to the chest. Or maybe they just didn't have any in their previous draw. Hard to say. It's going to be kind of annoying. Oh, they just played it. Interesting. Oh, do they just kill me? I mean, if you have PO, I do just lose to this. I mean, if their hand is Ancestral Misstep, triple Moxen, I mean, PO, then we are dead. Maybe they were just representing Hardcast Force. Kind of interesting play. I don't know what they're doing if they don't have PO there. What's the point of doing this if they don't have PO? Very confused. They know about Skydiver. Unless they're baiting Skydiver for something else. No, Hex Shrinker is not making a big impact in Vintage, but it is like an upgrade to a niche deck that you could play and feasibly do well in a tournament. So the overall point they're trying to make is fine. Using Hex Shrinker as the descriptor in that point is probably incorrect. So, but it is true that Hex Shrinker is an upgrade to Merfolk, and Merfolk is like borderline playable. Am I supposed to just, I don't know, whatever. We'll just play a Tide Shaper, I guess. It's not a big deal. Like I said in the beginning of this stream, the point they're trying to make is correct. I just think they chose the wrong cards to make that point. There have been a lot of strong niche cards that have improved and found their way into the Vintage metagame. I think they just let it happen, right? Maybe that's actually good, though. You might be right. Maybe we are supposed to just hit the fetch so they don't go for an Underground Sea. Yeah, that's probably true. Did I just not cast it with my Cavern of Souls as well? Yeah, I think I cast it without Cavern of Souls as well. Whoops. Oh, have I been saying Hex Shrinker? That is also a card that has seen play in Vintage recently, so don't blame me. There's got to be someone else we can blame. Wait. Oh no, opponent. This actually is super good for me because now they can't fetch and I just wasteland them. Oh wow. I think you are damned if you do. Oh wow, I really messed up that last Tide Shaper then. I messed up that last Tide Shaper so badly. I should have definitely done that last turn. I kind of just forgot about that line. Didn't even think about it. Maybe forgot is the wrong word. Didn't see is probably a better description. Uh-oh. Wait, that doesn't do anything, does it? Wait, if they had responded to... No, that doesn't go away. I played this game pretty poorly, all things considered. I'm surprised we haven't lost, to be... I think this play of them playing out their Moxen was really, really suspect. Without that, they would have had no Moxen to do anything. They could just hold it all in their hand. Playing around my Mind Ray Trap is one thing, but playing around a known thieving Skydiver is probably more important. So... All right, we got there. So I do have the Mind Break Trap still. Like I said, I don't think I want to do any other changes. You can make, like, you could maybe play Hercules, but I don't think you want to bring in Hercules unless they're on Saga. A non-Saga PO deck, I don't think, well, maybe instead of True Name, but again, True Name is a Silvergill Adept, so a target you can reveal to Silvergill Adept. What do I have here? I have I like this hand a lot against PO. I have a Hull Breacher with Flusterstorm and Force Backup. I have no other blue mana, but that might not be might not be the end of the world. Every person who posts a post using legacy metagame data or using MTG Goldfish front page data as metagame percentage is like, oh, it hurts so badly when people use this. Like, the data you see on that front page is only the top 32 decks and doesn't include league. Like, it's so far removed from whatever data WOTC is talking about. No. Not, some people are going off RS data, but like, this person just posted on Twitter, how can 20%, 19%, and 9% be so different? And like, you can't use the front page of MTG Goldfish as a metagame calculation when it doesn't include the entire metagame. It includes 150 league from each archetype. Doesn't help anything. I think I'm gonna wait. Don't think jamming Hull Breacher there makes sense yet. Having drawn multiple Wastelands here, I'm not super thrilled, but I would assume my opponent had multiple islands, actually. It's kind of weird they didn't fetch, because I would assume if they're playing no sagas, they're on 2 or 3 islands. So I have double Force Fluster Hull Breacher here, which could be good, but if my opponent just plays like Monastery Mentor, it might not be great. Well, time to find out how many islands my opponent has. There's 2 islands. You got a 3rd island? Uh-huh. You got a Pearl. My Fluster's getting better. And they have the Mentor. Okay, fair. Fair. I'm gonna Force Pitch Negation. No, I'm gonna Force Pitch Skydiver. No, I want Skydiver. No. I'm literally looking at a Twitter post where they circled the data on an MTG Goldfish screenshot. I mean, I want Skydiver because I think taking them off Pearl is good, but I think I'm going to pitch it. I don't know. Like, it's not super different. Like, I think this Force and Negation gets pitched anyways, right? Well, if my opponent's not going to cast another spell, I don't think I'm breaking this Lotus still. Like, I could have had this Hull Breacher in play a long time ago, but I think being able to hold up Hull Breacher and Flusterstorm is more important. Think I'm playing that. Think that looks good for numbers. But don't die to it. Until I get an island, I don't think I can cast this Hull Breacher because the Flusterstorm is usually pretty important here. I'm having serious blue source problems here. I haven't lost the Mana Crypt yet, though. How about now? It's a little too quiet. Oh no, the Mana Crypt is behaving. All right, well now I have things we can do. Now I have a lot of things we can do. Do I want to do them in upkeep? I don't think so. I still want to play on their spells if possible. I might do it in response to a... Okay, they have 1,000,000 mana now. But they only have 4 cards. Should I wasteland? Yeah, I'm gonna wasteland this Tolarian Academy in the end of combat. Okay. All right. At this end step, I'm gonna cast this Ancestral. Whew. We didn't even get to play game 1 in this match. They have Fatal Push? So if their last card is Flusterstorm, do we win a Flusterstorm mirror? They fluster, I fluster back. Their last card is Force. Awesome. All right. Let's get this stack here. That's a nice one. That's a game-winning stack for sure. Oh, I could have flashed in a Hex Catcher. Whoops. I do think Hull Breacher is pretty reasonable right now, yeah. Don't tell Renee again. Again, do not let Renee know that I've been speaking good about Hull Breacher. It's illegal. I could lose a Tinker. That's true. It's kind of hard to lose a Tinker here, but technically could. Oh, now it's like impossible. No, Renee's here. No, you're not allowed to be here, Renee. Damn it. No. Oh, it's all over. Oh, so sad. So sad. All right, Merfolk continue here. We're up against Breccaroni, who plays a lot of Squee. Normally, this hand is good against a variety of decks. It has Force, it has Time Walk. But if it's Squee, this hand is not good against Squee. I don't know. I don't know if I want to, like, risk it all on them actually playing Squee here. No, it's like all they play is Squee. All they play is Bizarre. All right, I'm going to mulligan based on my opponent's deck preferences, which is something you can choose to do or not. I'd like to see a Bizarre bagged out. Sorry, I'd like to see a Wasteland hand or a Hull Breacher hand. I mean, I will also accept an Ancestral Recall hand. This one I just like a little bit too powerful to put away. It's definitely more powerful than the other hand I could have played. A nice thing is we have, if they choose not to counter our Black Lotus, we can go upkeep Ancestral, and if they counter it, we could even like flash in Hexcatcher and counter. My best, oh, it's Hogaak, maybe. Or maybe it's just a weird version of Squee. I might negate this. It's pretty aggressive, but the way my hand currently lines up, I think I like it. Wow, they kept a 6-card no bizarre hand. Oh, they had a million cards exiled. My bad, chat. So it is still Hogaak. It is still Hogaak. I liked it a lot more if it's Hogaak. So for what it's worth, I think the hand is it's actually a much better play if they I'm gonna nah, if they wanna vigor me, that's fine. I didn't see the serum powders, unfortunately. All right, I'm gonna ancestral. All right, well, none of those are hex hull breachers. Just kind of annoying. Squee, they're just off it. Wow, they're just completely off it. Okay, so it's Hogaak. We're going to bring in Tinker, and we're going to bring in Sphinx, and we're going to bring in Surgicals and Tabernacles, and we're going to take out Negations, and I think we took out Forces last time, but I don't know why I did that. I feel like we need it for Hogaak and Hollow One. Could be wrong. Or what else am I kicking out? Like, am I going to take out a bunch of Skydivers? We took out Forces last time, but that can't be right, can it? The Squee deck? The Squee deck is just extremely good against combo, but really bad against Bazaar. Whereas the Hogaak deck is really good against Bazaar, but really bad against combo. They're very different decks. We took out Forces last time, right? Pretty sure we went like this. Which makes sense, but I guess I'm like a little worried about Hollow One and Hogaak. Don't know if I really like this play. Yeah, Squeeze is a really fun deck, but it's definitely a very polarizing deck. It's one of the most polarizing decks in the format. Like, your combo matchup is so good, but it's really, really hard for you to beat other Bazaar decks. And it's why you don't see it played very much, is because the other Bazaar decks are pretty high metagame share. All right, I don't know, chat. Do you think we should play more Skydivers or more Forces? Maybe we'll play like 2 Forces. 2 Forces? Kind of weird. But I think it's a nice stopgap against like a really powerful draw. Maybe on the draw we play Forces, and on the play we play Skydivers. Kind of hard to say. Yeah, that's classic. We don't have Brainstorm, so okay. This one I'm willing to keep. still think the best possible draw against Hogaak is just to have an early Hull Breacher. So they found a hollow one, but they don't have another hand without a Bazaar from our friend over here. Wow, that's a good draw. They use their Boseiju as well. That's like so good for us. I can't stress enough. That's like so good for us. I think it's better to put the Sphinx in play than to attack the Bazaar this turn. We could have attacked the Bazaar this turn. I just didn't really like it very much. They need to find a green source and a Boseiju to beat this, which is extremely hard for them to do. Sure. Do I want to surgically extract Bazaar of Baghdad? Wait, I should have wastelanded the Boseiju and surgically extracted Boseiju. What the fuck am I doing? I don't know why I didn't do that. I just forgot. I did not forget. I just missed it. I gotta keep saying I gotta stop saying I forgot when I clearly just missed it. No, I think it's actually the correct play. This Tide Shaper turning off like Deathrite Shamans and Root Wallas from being cast has actually been really, really good. This card has just been extremely overperformed in all of our matches. No, I definitely should have wasted Surgical. I think I can beat a Bazaar. And yeah, I think I can beat a Bazaar. There's really no reason to do anything anymore, though. They have to have green source Boseiju. They have second Boseiju? They have a third... Oh, I'm about to say, like, do they have a third Boseiju? So they had Boseiju, but they just didn't have another green source? Wow, I could have lost this game so easily if... That's not... I played this game badly. That not wastelanding Boseiju and surgicaling it could have been... Could easily have lost us this game. That's really good. That's a really good thing to keep in mind. I don't think I've ever done that, because it's very seldom that I play a Sphinx deck that plays Wasteland Surgical. It's never really come up before, but that was a really big misplay. I guess I should have surgicaled in response to this. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. But I could also surgical in response to Once Upon a Time as well. Not that it matters at that point. Like this whole game is just them waiting to draw a green source. And theoretically, it's going to be easier than for to draw a green source if they have Bazaar, but like I said, we would have taken all their outs out of the deck. We didn't get punished, which is pretty surprising for this stream. Here we go. 5th and final round of this Vintage League. 4-0 with Hexcatcher Merfolk. Let's see what our opponent has for us today. This hand is so anemic. I don't think I want to keep it. No force, no mocks. Too slow. Good against a Bazaar maybe, but maybe not good enough. Oh, I think I'm going to mulligan this hand. I think this looks like a modern hand. Okay, this is a little bit better. I'm going to get rid of the true name. This is a reasonable hand against like a Tinker deck. It's not a crazy good hand by any means, but uh-oh. That's so unfortunate. It's just the Ancestral in my upkeep when I have a negation and not a force of will. And I have a Hull Breacher in my hand. Just the power of the play. Well, I guess they would have done that on the draw as well, but it's okay. The good news. No, my Hull Breacher is just so sad. These are like the 2 draw cards in the Breach deck. There are like no more draw cards in this deck. Ah, that's frustrating. I have an uncounterable Hull Breacher. If I was on the play, this would have been so good. If I was on the play, we would have been Time Walk into uncounterable Hull Breacher for that Brainstorm. You just hate to see it. Ooh, I like that. So I'm gonna take their Mana Crypt. It's pretty sweet. I think that's better than Hull Breacher at this point, because there's just not very many other spells. This might stop them from making a construct. Maybe it's worse than just stealing a construct. That could be true. But we will need to play like a lot of mana at instant speed, so it's not bad. No, so if I play Cavern on turn 2 with the Time Walk, it incentivizes them to counter Time Walk, which I didn't want them to do. I felt it was really bad for me if my opponent countered Time Walk. So, well, we might lose the Saga tokens here. That one. Man, they have 6 cards. They're gonna get a Lotus, or they can just. This is all really bad for me. I just think that we're too far behind from Ancestral. Let it happen. Ancestral's a really hard card to beat. I do think if we were on the play, we would have rolled over this game. But that's vintage. That's kind of magic, actually. The play is very powerful. Especially the older format you go. I think we're going to die to Underworld Breach combo this turn, if I had to guess. Saga getting Lotus is just so much better than Saga making constructs. Yeah, this is Breach with Counterspell backup, probably. They haven't been able to force anything, so yeah. All right. If I had put a Hull Breacher into play, if they don't have a Brain Freeze already, then they would have had to Ancestral into the Brain Freeze, in which case Hull Breacher would have actually been better. But I don't think you're supposed to be playing around Breach. Oh, they have the Brain Freeze. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. I mean, this is the best deck in the format we're up against, and they resolved Ancestral on turn 1, so it's gonna be tough. I think we'll bring in Mindbreak Trap, but we're already pretty pre-boarded for this kind of thing. Maybe, yeah, we probably want Mindbreak Trap instead of a true name, but besides that, we're already pre-boarded. Maybe we would want to Heart Goals over a second true name. That's probably not true. Oh, yeah, Breach is the best deck in the format right now. It might not be the best deck in the format in a month or two, but as of right exactly now, it is. You're probably asked why I don't bring in Surgical Extraction, and that's because Breach is only a small part of the deck. It's just another way they can win. They have like 3, 4, 5 ways to win depending on the build. All right. Let's try it again. Shops is playable. Prison Shops is pretty reasonable. Again, this hand is a little awkward, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna play Wasteland Soul Ring so that I don't. Well, so the upside here would be if I play Cavern Soul Ring and I draw an island, I can use Flusterstorm. The downside is like the Soul Ring is much more likely to be forced if I'm gonna Cavern on Merfolk and play Soul Ring, but I think it's probably acceptable. The upside of like being able to draw island is super high. My opponent just F6'd. Okay, I give him time to get into the second main there. So I have a negation. I have a Skydiver to steal that. I have a Hull Breacher to counteract a thing. I might say I just have Tinker. I mean, if they just have Tinker with Force Backup, that would be pretty sad. So I think the answer... So I can choose to hold to... Maybe I should have pitched Flusterstorm. I want to hold this Wasteland. I want to hold this Wasteland for Saga. The problem is they didn't have any Moxen afterwards. So it's like really hard to keep theming Skydiver. Yeah, I'm glad I held Wasteland. Maybe I'm supposed to play Hull Breacher during the window where I could, I don't know, I just feel like I want to get more value off it, but maybe that's silly. I'll do a Skydiver anyways. I definitely liked my holding of Wasteland though. That part at least was good. I probably should have just resolved Hull Breacher when I had the chance. Now it's like really hard for me to get a good window. The thing is, without Tinker, their next biggest play is like Ancestral, so... Yep, hope this gets Ancestral. Yep. Nice. That's a good draw. That'll help a little bit. I mean, they should probably have a read that I have a Hull Breacher at this point in the game. I would think. Narset. I don't really care that much about Narset, but it's like reasonably high upside when their last spell is Ancestral. Though they're just never going to cast this Ancestral until they have a Pyroblast back up, right? So maybe this is all silly. How am I going to ever resolve this whole Reacher? How am I going to resolve anything? Okay, maybe I wish I had just played Whole Reacher on turn 1. Everything since that point has been so bad. Narsa helps find Pyroblast is reasonable, yeah. Because then they respond with Ancestral. Like, maybe it's fine because I fluster it at the end, but I've been trying to do this the whole time. And maybe it's silly, but I don't know. Yeah, I probably was supposed to do it. I don't know. But look at the value that I just attained. Have you considered how much value I have just attained? I think I don't really like what I did. I'm not gonna try to justify it, to be honest. I had some sunk cost fallacy in terms of my holding on to my whole breacher. Okay. Win and in. Come on, baby. This is the last one. I gotta play tight. I gotta play way better than that game. That game I think I played just so badly. There's no more things we can do, right? We could bring in Hercules or a surgical extraction instead of True Name. I don't really like those plays though. All right, we're just gonna jam this. I like this. Come on, please. Give me this 5-0. Give me the 5-0. Okay, this hand is fine. I accept. Opponent did Tinker in that game on turn 1. We were very lucky we didn't get Tinker with Force backup. Okay, I'd love a Sapphire. They have Time Walk? Should I force this, pitching Fluster? And then steal Sapphire? I can't steal Sapphire. I don't have enough mana. I have to waste. I could let this resolve, wasteland their Saga, and then they have a Construct, and then I will eventually steal. But I don't want the Construct to be in play. I want to just steal the Sapphire. It feels extremely greedy for me to negate this. Just so greedy. The real outcome of negating this is that they get a Construct. I can beat a Construct. Because I'll be able to play Sapphire and hold up Fluster. Now I can definitely beat a Construct. Okay. So they have 4 cards left. They were on the play. How many cards do they keep in this hand? 7? All right. 5 cards after draw. I really wanted the first Skydiver to steal Sapphire. Maybe it still should. No, it's going to have to steal Construct. I won't be able to protect the first Skydiver, and then I'll be... Is this Ancestral? Really? Opponent's too good. Why would we wait on the Wasteland to their turn? They get to do 2 activations if we do that. This Ancestral probably ruins our game plan. They have Vamp? No. Interesting. Oh, you just mean wait until they fetch and then Wasteland them? Yeah, I could have done that. Why didn't I do that? I'm just not playing very well today. Well, luckily for us, they didn't have Counterspell backup because they Pyroblasted my Skydiver. Small victories. Yeah, I didn't look at my opponent's misplay of not cracking. That was important, and I just didn't think about it. All right. I mean, they have 3 cards left after this. I have a bigger construct than they did. Any breach kills me pretty much. Maybe I can draw Hex. Maybe I can draw Hull Breacher. Yeah, I've been playing pretty badly. I mean, they could just draw nothing and die. Like, this construct might kill them. Urza Saga might claim another victim. Imagine playing Urza Saga. Couldn't be me. Come on, Wasteland. Tideshaper. Hull Breacher. Flusterstorm is so bad here. All right, well, now I have to win with this flyer. Oh, they have a Pyro. That's really bad. All right, now Saga's going to claim me as the victim. I top decked not great in these last cards, but they also probably top decked poorly. Fetch land. All right. Again, Tideshaper, Hull Breacher, True Name Nemesis. Ancestral. Have we cast any? Yeah, we cast a couple Ancestrals today. Oh, they're just going to let it hit. They're not even going to block. I think we're going to get breached. This hard cast Force. Wait. Oh, yeah. It's good. It's good. I was like, why could they pay Force if they have 1 life left? But then hard cast Force. All right, chat. Do we get combo killed and die? Come on. Come on. Come on. Give me it. Give me the Hex Shrinker win. Oh, top is so good here. They get 3 looks. They don't get 6 looks though because they're at 1. Come on. Hold. Hold. Let's go. Yes. Wizards of the Coast was correct. They knew the whole time. Oh my gosh. It's broken. Hex Catcher will save the vintage format. Oh, we're so lucky. I played so badly today. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Oh, this was fun. This was a good time. Can't believe this just happened. Oh my lord. Oh, yeah, Skydiver is great. Skydiver's been good though, for sure. Wow. Okay. Whew. So there we go. 5-0. I don't even think I want to make any changes to this deck. I really like the way it's set up. Like maybe you can play less Tabernacles and like another Mindbreak Trap, but the way this is built is really convincing. And I'm pretty happy. Tideshaper was great. Hexcatcher was fine. But Skydiver and Tideshaper really overperformed. Hull Reacher was quite good as well. Just a bunch of counter spells. Wow, we just 5-0'd with Merfolk on the first try. Tinker sideboard plan with Sphinx was also quite important in this 5-0 league, worth noting. I think you can maybe play the Sphinx in the main, but it just depends on the metagame. You could definitely play Sphinx in the main if you wanted to. Oh, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. All those things help grow the channel. New videos on the YouTube channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will see you for those. Then, see you then. I'm not even saying my own catchphrases right today. Goodbye.